also from the book that I had this small conversation with my children. They're now 22 and 23, but when they were like maybe 6, 7 years old, they were sitting with two of their friends around the kitchen table, and I was sitting there too. And I don't know where this note came from, but all of a sudden my son just drew up this note, and it said, a good person. Et godt menneske, a good person. And then I thought, I need to, I have to take this chance. So I asked, well, what do you think? What is a good person? And then these small children started to philosophize, and they said, like, well, a good person is a person who takes your friends, you plays with your friends, and and we kept going for like half an hour, and then all of a sudden my son goes, a good person is a person who is good to the evil, or to the bad ones, is actually what he said, but in Norwegian. So yeah. And I was like, whoa. That's actually, the Socrates, who is said to be the first in history to say that you shouldn't be you should be good to everyone, also your enemies. And then Jesus, of course, who said,
Yes.
turn the other cheek. And then Mahatma Gandhi, who kind of said that everyone, he didn't want to kill people for weaknesses that we all have. And as soon as people kind of had realized they were wrong, they were on his side, and he included them. So this little child, 7 years old, he kind of pinpointed this ancient wisdom. Yeah. So, and of course, I've been telling this story over and over again to them. Of course, they remember, but you never know. But I think even though children might not remember, I think still it's a glimpse for them. It makes a movement inside of them, so to speak. They have an aha insight there, and then when you have those small glimpses or those aha experiences, you can't really go back. Something is changed, even though you can't really pinpoint what it was that happened, or what it was you understood, or.
Yeah, there's so many pieces there. I mean, I love that you shared that. I was actually going to ask you about another story that you shared in the book, but I love that you shared the story about your children. Because I'm really just thinking about like moms and dads and like families, and like, why would they think that philosophizing is important? But you actually show how you've used this process with your own children. And then the other piece that you were just saying about how once you have kind of a glimpse into wisdom, into something deeper, into it stays with you on some level. It's always there, and it's like you might forget about it, but when that situation comes, it'll inform how you respond. When there's a situation where now you need it, it's like you have the wisdom to use, because it's almost like it's been accessed and it's there. So that seems like it's a really important part. And I would love if you could tell the other story that you shared. I think it was about something about your children saying, like, what happens when we die?
When we die, yes.
Yeah, that was a great story. Yeah.
That was in 2004, actually. Also this in April, and my daughter, she would turn 4 in May. So she was not 4 years old yet. And my son, he's only 15 months older, so he had just turned 5. 3 months older. So now I'm 15 months older. Yes.
Yeah.
I've written about this in Norwegian, though, also in an article. And my daughter comes, and I was waiting some friends over, so I was really busy. So I didn't really have the time to listen to her. But she came, and she was so tense, and she said, "Oh, Mama, what happens when we die? Are you going to die, Mama? Am I going to die? I don't want to be buried when I die. What happens when we die, Mama?" She was like very much, on the edge. And I was like, oh, how do I answer? What can I say? I mean, I can't give her my atheist answer, at least. I mean, yeah, we are buried and then we disappear. So I kind of took that diplomatic way. So I said that, well, some people think that we just get buried and die, disappear, and other things that we come to God when we die. Oh, what do you think, Mama? She's like pressing me, and it's like, and I couldn't answer her. And then my friends were coming, and I had the pizza in the oven and everything. So yeah. So and a couple of weeks later, and this kept, working in me, and I didn't really have, how can I answer this? And then we were going to drive, and my children were in their seats in the back, and then my son Magnus, 5 years old, he said, "Angels never die, they." Engler, de dør aldri, de. And Christine says, "Oh, I wish I was an angel." But Christine, you become an angel when you die, my son said.
I love it. I love that so much.
Then her, her little body was like 10 kilos lighter. I could just feel the atmosphere in the car changing, and she could relax because she would become an angel when she died. And I could not, I just let them have their answer. It was as good as my answer. I didn't have an answer either. So this is really, and this is kind of a clash of understandings that is not really, it's not really possible to solve it. And in our time, there are so many possibilities. It's like if you grew up in the Middle Ages, there would have been one answer, kind of. We live in a time where there's multiple answers, and this is also very challenging. For it's difficult to be a parent and guide children in a way that keeps them safe and trustful, so to speak, and at the same time allows them to develop in their own pace and find their own answers and their own solutions. So it's this really difficult balancing that parents today have to handle, which it's much easier, I guess, but also then you maybe live more in an illusion. If you live in a society that with set answers,